So the Western media, pro-West YouTubers like ADV China and China Uncensored, they're just looking at the skin of Taiwan, and even if they know better, they're not saying it.
So Korean Fish,
Yeah.
the second guy,
Yeah.
he was winning a lot of hearts and minds with promises of jobs and reigniting the economy, but there were a lot of ties to the mainland being found out.
Of course.
And a lot of KMT people that were in the pockets of the CCP. And guess what? He was on top of polls for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then China's nightmare happened.
Hong Kong.
See, China wanted orange or blue, lesser blue,
Yeah.
to win. They hate English vegetables so much. The last thing they want,
Yeah.
right, is Taiwan independence. Then they actually have to put their money where their mouth is and go invade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was poised to win, and then like you said, Hong Kong happened.
Yeah.
And that was the end. As soon as Taiwanese people saw what one party, two systems status quo looks like,
Yeah.
she won by a freaking
Landslide.
landslide.
57%.
Show the next slide.
Sure, let's get there.
Anyway, long story short, she won by a landslide because, and I'm going to attribute this to the absolute ridiculousness of the CCP's meddling in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You don't want to be part of that system, and I think they've lost Taiwan forever.
Yeah,
For
seriously,
real.
because they just basically demonstrated exactly how they would run a one-party, two systems, a one country, two systems thing, which is poorly. They
Right.
really did not deal with Hong Kong correctly. They could have de-escalated it straight away by removing that stupid extradition bill, but rather they pushed it because they're used to getting their way. In mainland China, if the government says this is how it is, that's how it is, and if anyone challenges them, they get locked up.
So to wrap this up, throughout the year, mainland China's been running articles about, they knew James Song wasn't going to win, but running articles about how Korean Fish, the Blue Party guy, was winning hearts and minds around and it's going to improve ties to China. And they were writing so many articles like, absolutely, Tsai Ing-wen is going to lose. They were 100% sure she was going to lose. And here we are again, egg on face.
Yeah,
Freedom prevails.
Now, I'm of the opinion that Winston and Matt of ADV China have no idea that the opinion polls in Taiwan have been faked since June 2019 when the Hong Kong protests began. The entire DPP propaganda machine and the Western media have sold this story that the Hong Kong protests caused the turnaround in the opinion polls for Tsai Ing-wen. It's a completely false story. However, it makes complete sense to them, and that's all they know. They have no idea of what the actual conditions are in Taiwan and what people are actually thinking on the ground. The truth is that people care very little for what is happening in Hong Kong. Tsai Ing-wen has been in office since May 2016, and people have mostly hated her administration for her domestic policies. They weren't going to change their minds over trouble in Hong Kong. It doesn't mean that they liked what they saw in Hong Kong. It just had nothing to do with them. Also, the DPP and the Western media sell this notion that putting the KMT in office would bring in the Chinese Communist Party to Taiwan immediately or very soon through their business ties or whatnot. However, people in Taiwan know that this isn't really true. Ma Ying-jeou of the KMT party was already in power for 8 years and nothing like that happened. Most people can see through this as DPP propaganda and just a scare tactic to get people to support the DPP. So this kind of disinformation that the Hong Kong protests turned around the election for Tsai Ing-wen is very believable to the Western media and these YouTubers that are against the Chinese Communist Party. It makes complete sense to them because it's how they would think. However, they don't understand how people think in Taiwan, how local they are, how not international they are, unlike them who are very international. Therefore, they are using how they think to analyze how people in Taiwan are thinking, and it's coming across as completely incorrect and making them look foolish. This is why when I brought up the possibility of election fraud in the comments, Winston just called me a sore loser and never responded to any of my further comments. Even though I gave video evidence and statistical evidence of election fraud, I got no response from him. For them to even consider that they've been duped that badly by the Tsai Ing-wen administration would be a huge embarrassment to them. Even if it were true, they couldn't care less. They would probably prefer it if the truth just got buried. And they couldn't care less about people in Taiwan being cheated or not having voting rights or lack of freedom of speech on the internet or Tsai Ing-wen turning Taiwan into a police state or issues with freedom of press in Taiwan. They would talk about Apple Daily being shut down in Hong Kong, but they would never talk about CTI being removed from cable television in Taiwan. So my main point about the Western media is that they just use Taiwan to attack the Chinese Communist Party, and they have absolutely no clue what people in Taiwan are actually thinking. But why would they care? It's what they want, because all they care about is bringing down Beijing. It's just like kind of sad how all these falsehoods about Taiwan have to be spread in order to help bring down China in Beijing, the Chinese Communist Party. And it's like everything always has to be about that. Okay, it's not about the people in Taiwan and what they actually need. There's 23 million people in Taiwan, and they're just like tools to utilize to like say, hey, look, these people are on our side, on the Western, the pro-democracy Western side. Look at the election results, and like they've given you, China, the middle finger, and ha ha ha. All of this, like, for people who really understand what's going on, it just makes the West look really bad. It just makes them look really petty. Like why is there this such a strong effort to promote Tsai Ing-wen and the fake democracy in Taiwan? It's just because of China's economic rise, and they're threatened by it. It's like the West is so afraid of China like taking their lunch or whatever, so they're just finding any possible way to just try to stop their rise and stuff like that. And Taiwan is just it's a very manipulated place by the Western media and Western nations.